Looks like it's gonna be one of those days. After 7,000 years of smooth sailing, suddenly the three suns that orbit the planet have aligned. Now all of the technology has stopped functioning and everyone is sweaty because there are three suns and it is really hot outside and none of the air conditioners work anymore. But good news, the end of one era means the beginning of another. If science and technology can no longer get the job done, then magic will take its place. Hi, I'm Dan Larson and this is the history of Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light. Stop me if you've heard this one before. 1980s collaborative project between Marvel Comics, Hasbro, and Sunbow Productions. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Robotics, Gem, and Humanoids. On second thought, don't stop me because we absolutely have been over this before. Cross-media marketing was a proven approach to selling a new toy line, a guaranteed way to make sure that the product stayed in the forefront of the target demographic as part of the consumable entertainment diet 24 hours a day. This isn't the first time this has come up, and it won't be the last. Visionaries was a 1987 effort by Hasbro to move a new, original concept line of action figures with a science fiction fantasy superhero theme. The figures, vehicles, and some weapons featured holograms that represented the bearer's magical power. See, on the planet Prismos, after the suns aligned, causing all the technology to fail, people suddenly had to interact with each other instead of binge-watching Netflix, subtweeting and Instagramming pictures of food, and it did not go well. The whole civilization went right back to medieval times. Instead of diners, drive-ins, and dives, they were building castles, moats, and labyrinths. Whatever solar force caused all the technology to fail also increased the amount of magic in the air. Two dominant competitive factions in the quest for more power emerged, the heroic spectral knights led by Leoric, and the evil darkling lords led by Darkstorm. Both the knights and the lords were invited to a contest held by the great and powerful wizard Merklin to compete for even greater magical powers. And then, like the total mischievous jerk wizard that he is, Merklin awarded an equal number of magical powers to both teams, and then set them back into the world to make sure that the business of war and his own personal entertainment can continue in the absence of refrigerators and Beats by Dre. Their magical powers manifested themselves as spells contained within totem staves, chest plates, and panels on their vehicles. Each character could summon or fully shapeshift into the creature-based avatar represented on their chest plate. For Leoric, the leader of the Spectral Knights, it was a mighty lion. For Darkstorm, leader of the Darkling Lords, it was a swamp mollusk. Hasbro designed the figures using the same body engineering of their successful G.I. Joe line. Ball and socket neck, swivel biceps, O-ring waist, but Visionaries were an inch taller, preventing any crossover potential outside of the truly imaginative action figure enthusiast. You see, while the Joes were from Earth, the Visionaries were not. That makes them aliens, and aliens aren't always the same height as humans. Another mystery solved. The animated series ran for 13 episodes from September to December of 1987. The cast was made up of some of the most recognizable, some of the biggest names in voice acting, several of whom had already worked on multiple Hasbro Marvel Sunbow projects together. Peter Cullen, Jim Cummings, Chris Latta, Neil Ross. Stop me if you've heard them before. Marvel started a comic book series under their Star Comics imprint, but it only lasted 6 issues in the United States and suffered the indignity of being canceled 2 issues into a 4-issue arc. Across the pond, the UK branch of Marvel, hoping to get some mileage out of what had already been produced, reprinted the Visionaries comics. But they performed even worse over there, making it only 4 issues before being recanceled. Hindsight is 20/20, so it's easy for me to judge sitting here in the future. But it's almost as if this just wasn't a concept that kids from all over the world were into. But that didn't stop Marvel UK. The remaining 2 issues, 5 and 6, were broken up and run as backup stories in Transformers comics that were rebranded Transformers and Visionaries. Maybe some of that Transformers magic would rub off on the Visionaries. Visionaries just weren't particularly successful on any of the marketing fronts. It's unfortunate because holograms are totally cool and mesmerizing, and it's not the worst possible premise for a toy line that uses them. But after their brief flirtation with mass retail, Visionaries would go silent until 2015, when they were announced as part of the Hasbro shared universe. In 2015, Hasbro started developing a crossover universe with several of their prominent 80s brands and also some obscure ones. Mask, Transformers, G.I. Joe, ROM, Action Man, Micronauts, and Visionaries. Maybe Gem, sometimes Gem, we'll see. In fact, we'll see about all of it, aiming high with a series of movies, starting low with a series of comics. Most of that shared universe world building was handled by the creative teams at IDW Comics, where they produced several books featuring the Hasbro brands from 2015 through 2017. But regardless of what IDW did with those brands up to now, it's all going to get rebooted if and when any of the films can actually make it to theaters. To celebrate the announcement of potential return of Visionaries in the Hasbro shared universe in 2016, Hasbro released a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Leoric Mighty Mugs figure. While fans were happy to see their favorite mustachioed Spectral Knight back in product form, they were not happy with the foil sticker that had replaced the signature hologram on his chest. A year later, in 2017, still celebrating the potential for the return of the Visionaries brand, Hasbro released a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive box set tied into the IDW comic book crossover series. It featured Transformers Micronauts G.I. Joe Action Man mask and Leoric from Visionaries finally in scale with G.I. Joe, and, again, disappointing fans with foil stickers instead of holograms. The Visionaries made their biggest impact to date when IDW's Transformers vs. Visionaries hit shelves in January of 2018. Merging the Visionaries concept with the world of Transformers was easy since they are originally set on different planets, Cybertron and Prismos. In this version of the future, the three sons of Prismos de-align, causing cataclysmic destruction of the planet, killing all but a handful of the Visionaries. Merklin and the Visionaries start to build a new home on Cybertron, where the Dark Lords see the Transformers as mere objects, and the Spectral Knights recognize them as sentient beings. Even with so few Visionaries remaining, they still can't come together, and so the war continues. The Visionaries all received modern redesigns, so from here on out, they demand to be taken seriously. Whether Visionaries sounds like something you're into or not, give Hasbro credit. In the 80s, they were creating original properties left and right. They were trying new things, they were pushing the boundaries of what might attract kids, what might get them to spend their parents' money, and if nothing else, it means that no matter how obscure the property, Hasbro will never give up on it, even if one fan still remembers. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. Share this video, and if you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/toygalaxy and let us know in the comments down below if you'd be willing to give up all the technological wonders we have in the world today if it meant that you could change into a magic gorilla at will. I'd do it. Sorry, Toy Galaxy, I'd shut you down for a magic monkey.
Cut. I would not.